Wish you would tell me why. You wanna build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. Okay, bye. Come down. Come down. What are you doing down there? I'm singing to you. Are you recording? You're so singing. It's for the Disney book tag. Oh, dear Jesus. Don't let those up. What's wrong with this shit? Do you want to build a snowman? Right across around the halls. And your baby is overdue. I'm starting talking to the pictures on the wall. Sing it, Mary Joan. It gets a little lonely. All these empty rooms. Watching the hours tick by.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and today, if you could not guess, I'm doing... Oh, I'm sitting down. That's probably bad because I'm going to be rocking a whole bunch. I didn't think about this. I'll try to sit still. Today, I will be doing the Disney book tag. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. I'm a little bit late with this. But it's okay. I got Ariel, Flounder. I love Disney, and I love The Little Mermaid. It's my favorite. So... Also, I'm filming in a new location, kind of. I'm sitting. I'm normally standing. But I didn't want the glare on my glasses. And before we begin, just so you know, I do have 3 different Harry Potter books on this list. So let's get started. The first, of course, mon préféré, The Little Mermaid.
Jordanland, they understand, but they don't reprimand their daughters. Ask them my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and what is it? What's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that shore up above? Wish I could be
So, like I said before, Question 1. The Little Mermaid, a character who is out of their element, a fish out of water. Warm Bodies by Isaac Marin. I would say that R is a fish out of water. If you have not seen this movie or read this book, it is about a zombie named R who meets a girl who is a human. And he kind of travels to the human area. The world is separated by zombies and the living. And R is a good zombie, which is weird. It's definitely weird, and I've never read a zombie novel before. But this is so beautiful and so well told, but the entire time, R is Ariel. Next is Cinderella, a character who goes through a major transformation.
a dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. Dreams you will lose for heartaches. Whatever you wish for, you keep. Faith in your dreams that you'll get 100 subscribers and someday a rainbow will come. How your heart is dreaming, you keep on believing. Dream that you wish will come true.
I would say Lola from Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. I just finished this book today, so that probably is why I'm so excited about it. As Lola grows throughout this, you see how her experiences, not only from her past and her family, but you see how her relationships change and how she matures as a woman and how she matures as an individual and how she matures to be in a relationship. And I am just really blown away by how well she was able to read herself even in like a really difficult situation. And so I love this book, and I really do love Lola. 3. Snow White, a book with an eclectic cast of characters. For this, I chose a graphic novel. This is an ARC. I did not realize this was an ARC. I don't know how I got this. I think I got it from Goodwill or something. It is called The Plain Jane, and it is about a group of 4 incredibly eclectic girls. Jane, Polly Jane, and Jane. They create a secret club called Plain, which is people loving art in neighborhoods, and what they do is they kind of go around their neighborhood and their city, and they put a whole bunch of art around that makes people think, and it kind of makes some people angry, and it stirs up some controversy, but it also is beautiful, and it's the spice of life that some people need in their town. And so this is a beautiful book with an eclectic town and an eclectic group of plain Janes. Number 4, Sleeping Beauty. A book that put you to sleep. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. It's even big enough to be a pillow. This book put me to sleep. It bored the living potatoes out of me. Wuthering Heights, it put me to sleep. I was bored of it just because I think it could have ended a lot faster than it did. I should probably try it again because a lot of people really like this book. I mean, it's a classic, but this book definitely put me to sleep. 5, The Lion King.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king. No one say do this. No one say be there. No one say stop that. No one say see here. Now see here. You gon' run around all day. We gon' do it all my way.
A character who had something traumatic happen to them in childhood. The most beautiful edition I've ever seen. If you haven't read it or seen the movies, pretend I won't say anything. But if you know, then you know. And we all know. Harry Potter book number 1. Question number 6. Beauty and the Beast. Belle. I watched that movie a lot in French. When we were in French class, we used to watch it in French all the time. And I still... Les livres. Les romans.
Tale as old as time. True as it can be. Barely even friends, and some funny pens, unexpectedly. Just a little change. Small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast.
A beast of a book that you were intimidated by, but found the story to be beautiful. Harry Potter book number 2, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And yes, I picked my big-er edition because this book is huge. It's not the biggest book in the series. The biggest book is the 5th, and I think the second biggest is the 7th or the 6th. This is not the biggest book in the series, but I picked it as my beast of a book. I picked it as Beast because I started reading this in 4th grade, and I remember this was the one that was hardest for me to read because I'm really lame, and I didn't like the first chapter at all. The one about Tom Riddle and the Tom Riddle house. I didn't like that chapter, so I put this book down for like 6 months or 5 months. I put it down for a really, really, really long time. So I lost a lot of reading time because I thought it was going to be a bad book because of that one chapter, but I was wrong. It was a great book, like all the books, but it was just so big, and the first chapter sucked, and I saw, well, back then I thought the first chapter sucked, and so I thought all the chapters were gonna suck, and so Beast. But it turned out to be beauty. Number 7, Aladdin. A character who gets their wish granted for better or for worse. I feel like this is sort of a stretch, and I didn't really know what to pick for this one, but I pick Eleanor and Park because I feel like Park was wishing the entire time for Eleanor to feel, I guess, worthy and happier. I think that that's fair to say. And I think that the way it happened was not the way that Park expected it to in the end, and I don't think he was ready for that. And so I think he got his wish granted, but the immediate turnout wasn't what he wanted. But read the book. Tell me what you think. I don't know. I didn't really know what to pick for this one. Again, I'm working on reading more books so I can have more books to pick, but I could read 100,000 more books and I'd still probably pick this book to be in a tag video at least every time because it's so good. Number 8, Mulan, a character who pretends to be someone that they are not. For this, I pick Esther Greenwood from The Bell Jar. Esther kind of is going through a really hard time, a really bad breakdown. Her mental capacity is just, she's just losing it. Like, I don't really know how to describe And a lot of the time she wants to pretend to be someone else because she wants to be somebody else, because she hates who she is. And it is not what I was expecting it to be. And I didn't know how to rate this book. I think I gave it 4 stars just because it wasn't what I was expecting it to be, but it was good. And she definitely pretends to be someone that she's not. Toy Story. A book of characters you wish would come to life. This one, I could have picked another Harry Potter book, but no, this is not my other Harry Potter book. I talk about this book a lot, so I'm sorry. But Anna and the French Kiss, and I just finished Lola today, and this is a mini spoiler, so just skip a little bit if you have not read this series or you want to or whatever. But it's not a bad spoiler, so. Anna and Etienne are in Lola, and every time I read about Etienne or Anna, I was just filled with so much joy. And I know that I would definitely want to marry Etienne, and I would really want to be best friends with Anna, or I want to be Anna. And I just love this book, and I wish they were real people because I feel like they are real people. Stephanie Perkins does a great job of creating really, really, really realistic characters, and they're not so fluffy that you can't really imagine them in real life. I know people like Lola, I know people like Max, I know people like Cricket, I know people like Anna, and I know people like Etienne. And so it just made the novel even more interesting because they were described and put together so beautifully. And so I want to meet Anna, and I want to know Etienne. I love him so much. He is my ultimate book boyfriend, I'm pretty sure at this point. Of course, Becca says Isla's even better, and I haven't even read that one yet, and so we'll see what happens. But this trilogy just keeps knocking them out of the park. 5 stars and 5 stars to Lola, and I'm gonna do the review pretty soon. But Hercules, a book that inspired you and made you a stronger human. I've never ever heard this book being talked about ever on BookTube, except for me. I think I've talked about this book once or twice before, and that is Absolute Brightness. And I read this back in 8th grade, and it stuck with me really well. The main character of this book, Leonard, definitely is a very... Oh, I almost hit myself in the face. This is a big book. It definitely does inspire me to be a better person because he went through the ultimate wrongdoings throughout this entire novel. People were awful to him throughout this whole book to the very end of the book, and it just taught me how to kind of be a light. He had a tough life, and he carried through and was the greatest person to the very end. And so I love this book, and I highly recommend it. I don't know what age it's geared towards, but I think that it definitely can touch the soul of people across ages. Next up is Up. A book that you had no idea what it was about before you started it. I feel like this one kind of counts and it also kind of doesn't count because I had an idea of what it was about, and that is The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, I knew kind of what it was about. I knew that it was about a girl and summer and boys, but I really thought that that was what it was going to only be about, and I was, why am I still wearing this crown? It's hurting my head. I thought it was just going to be a fluffy summer contemporary, and in a way it was. I mean, it is summer contemporary, and it is fluffy or whatever. It is a lot more than just a girl and 2 boys and summer. And so I wasn't expecting it to be that deep. I wasn't expecting to be moved by it that much. I wasn't even expecting it to be that good. But this series is great. 4 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars. Overall, I'd give it 5 stars just because when I look back on it, there's a reason why the first book was written that way that it was. There's a reason why the second book was written the way that it was. And there's a reason why the characters developed how they did. And I just love this book.
Please, I know you're in there. People are asking where you've been. They say courage, and I'm trying to. I'm here for you. Just let me in. We only have each other. It's just you and me. What are we gonna do? Do you want to build a snowman?
What'd you do for Frozen?
I just did 6 songs for Frozen.
No, but who's your favorite book siblings or whatever?
Oh, I forgot to film Frozen! She was just in the intro for that. She came in for this part. As I was filming the part where I was singing along that, you know, I'm speeding up, this cute little part that I put before, I realized that I've sung 6 songs for Frozen's intro, but I forgot to film Frozen's book. Why? Because it's just this book again. I love Conrad and Jeremiah so much.
Me too.
And I don't know if they're my favorite, but they're definitely my favorite right now. And I'm here with my sibling. This is just perfectly fitting. Last, but certainly not least, is the 3rd Harry Potter book that I was promising you. And that is for Disney Descendants, your favorite villain or morally ambiguous character. For this, I am picking, again, another book from the Harry Potter series. I almost said the Harry Potter trilogy. How weird would that be if it was just 3 books? I don't even know what 3 books they would pick. They couldn't fit it. She couldn't fit it all in 3 books. And no, I do not pick Voldemort. I am picking the Malfoy family from Harry Potter, specifically how it was wrapped up in the Deathly Hallows. I think that all of them were portrayed as awful villains, and I think that they did all have evil in them, but, and again, if you haven't watched the movie or read the book, just kind of don't listen to me talking right now. Even though this video is so long, I'll be surprised if you're still listening to me talking by now at this point anyway. But I think that their ending was beautiful in that, yes, they were evil, and yes, they were living for something that wasn't good. They represented badness throughout the entire book, and they did treat Harry and everyone around them like garbage, but in the end, the most important thing to all of them was their family, and that is beautiful and that is redeeming, I think, which is why I liked the ending of this so much. That's why I'm rereading it, because I can't forget every cute little detail. I'm rereading the first one right now, and I forgot how funny Harry was. Harry Potter is so funny. Like, in the first one when Aunt Petunia is making dyeing his school uniform, and he's looking at it, and he's like, what is this? And she's like, it's your school uniform. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize it had to be that wet. Like, that's so funny. So I just don't want to forget every little detail, but I don't think I could ever forget the redemption of the Malfoy family in the 7th novel. So they are my favorite villains. That was the Disney book tag, and that was also really long. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the Disney book tag. Have a wonderful day. Bye! Oh, it's better if I move closer to the camera. I should probably start refilming, but I'm already 10 minutes in, so I'm not going to start refilming. Anyway!
This is so true. Reindeers are better than people. Sven, don't you think that's true?
Yeah, people will beat you and curse you and cheat you. Every one of them's bad, except you.
Oh.
Thanks, buddy. But
People smell better than reindeers. Becca, don't you think I'm right?
that's once again true for all except you. You got me.
Let's call it a night.
Good
Good night. Don't let the frogs bite.